I never thought I would get married within 6 months. I always thought it was like crazy. People saying, when you know, looking back, it's crazy how much stress I put myself through to get nothing. Just been through it with relationships. So there's just a lot of fear, uncertainty. I wish I could have done things differently.
The most important thing that we can do is be good stewards of what God's already given us. Fear God.
Truly.
Fear God. It's the best thing that you can do.
I literally thought life was ending. All of those heartaches and all of those like moments of loneliness and hurt was all worth it. When we first started talking, I barely told anybody because I needed to make sure my heart was right. Every other season ended the same way. With her, I was like, I need to do this differently.
Why? Why her? Bro, why do I always get in the craziest situations with you?
What do you mean?
I don't know, dude. We're recording a podcast in a car.
Checks out.
Next to Lake Michigan, next to the Chicago skyline. I mean, I will say it does check out because literally we have had some of our deepest conversations like right here on Montrose Beach. Would you not agree?
Yeah. Over
in the past
like
the
bird
2-3
sanctuary?
years. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, just with that.
Even on the phone, I feel like I've called you when you've been in California.
Yeah. This is just like I feel like it's a sanctuary to both of us. You discovered it first though.
Yeah. Shout out to Harrison.
Oh yeah, Harrison Gamber.
His little album cover.
Yeah, you took inspiration for something, for like a photo shoot from that, and then you just discovered that it was like the best place in Chicago, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
then, I found other spots, but this one, like, special place for sure.
Yeah. Special place, special person, special teams, special players.
Are we keeping all this in?
We are.
Okay.
Chad's afraid of getting canceled. I don't know why you would get canceled from us talking about our
I wasn't.
Our
I
deep
was just like, you were talking
conversations.
about sketch. I was like, oh.
Oh, yeah. If you don't know who Sketch is, you're not cultured in today's world. You got to go. You got to go look him up, man. He's a generational phenomenon right now. Welcome to Created to Create, guys. We're in a little bit of a different location tonight, but it's the same podcast, and it's the same host, me, Ben Gluntz. You know
Glenn
the name.
over here.
No, it's not Glenn. He keeps... his fiance has an idea to call me Glenn, and I'm not really down with it. Like, normally when you combine two words, you combine the first word with the last word. So, like, my first and last name, it would be Ben Gluntz, so it would be Blunts. But she's trying to combine the first letter of the last name with the rest of the first name and go Glenn. The first two letters of the last name. That's unheard of.
It's 2 and 2.
That's unheard of.
But it's like my nickname.
What's your nickname?
Mad Cheeks. You take the last and put it at the first.
True. That's a little bit different, though. Who gave you that nickname originally?
Friends in high school.
Okay.
In the little co-op thing.
Oh, we love it. Chad was homeschooled, by the way.
Don't just put it on me. You were
I was
too.
also homeschooled.
Look how we ended up.
But that's not how we met. We met through Instagram way back in...
We found this out the other day. Was it 2015?
No, it's 2017.
Okay.
Because I was just graduating high school, I believe.
Yeah.
Going into college, all that fun stuff. Talk to me later about it. I'll give you the whole rundown. I dropped out of college after 2 years. It's whatever. But yeah, Chad is one of my closest friends. Just got to put that on record.
OG.
Yeah, we've just been brothers for a long time now. It's crazy that it's like 8 years.
That's crazy.
I always felt that you were like one of my closest friends, but also one of my newest friends. And now I can say that you're one of my older friends.
Yeah.
Which is pretty dope.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
But yeah, Chad is the man. Chad, you're a photographer, right?
I dabble.
A very good one at that.
I dabble.
So that's the only reason he's on this podcast, actually, because he's a creative.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have brought him on if he wasn't.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We're all creative.
Some way or another.
That actually brings up an interesting question, because I definitely wanted to talk about this with you. And I've just been wanting to talk about this for a long time now on this podcast. But it all started. We got the ambience tonight. We got the ambience tonight.
I really
we
hope
got
that
music.
picked up. It's about to when he drives by.
Yeah, we'll get it on the way back around. He's like 30 feet away. Anyway, we're not getting distracted. So essentially, no, we are. So essentially, a month or two ago, I was recording the podcast with Brendan Abernathy, which if you haven't watched that, go watch it. But he brought up a quote. I think it was by Pablo Picasso, maybe someone else. I think it was Pablo Picasso. Anyway.
I thought you were about to say Pablo Escobar.
No, not that guy. A different Pablo, the better Pablo. Anyway, the quote was something along the lines of, everybody's born an artist. We all just like come to lose it as adults, or the trouble is like staying one when you become an adult. And that got me thinking about a lot of things, especially about just creative genius as a concept. And first of all, like what it is, but then also if creative genius is something that most or not all of us, or most or all of us are born with. And so I did research, and I was like reading a lot of different articles, and just came to find out that for the most part, every human is technically like born with creative genius. You're born with the potential, the ability to think deeply, to think within like a flow state, to be able to innovate. But as we get older, the less we utilize that part of our brain, the less we get into deep thought, the less we try to create. It's like a muscle. It's like you just get weaker and weaker, and you're not able to get there as quickly and as fluidly. And so it's basically saying like, the Elon Musks of the world, the people that are always innovating, they were just people that were always putting themselves out there and always pushing the grain on whatever that they were doing. And so from young childhood, they were always kind of like going against the grain in whatever they were doing. And that's kind of why they're at the place that they're now, because they practiced it so much that they were able to get to a point where it was just like second nature. And they didn't have to go through a lot of the hoops anymore, like mentally or physically, to get to the point where they could be in that state of deeply thinking and critically thinking and stuff like that. But what's your hot take? Do you think people are born with creative genius, and how quickly do you think people lose it if they are?
I think everybody's born with, that creative side. I just think back to growing up and being surrounded by other kids who were full of just so much imagination, like myself.
Yeah.
You'd like create worlds with a stick.
No, actually though, I was just talking on my last podcast about that.
Yeah. And I think everybody is born with it, but as time goes on, you slowly lose it. I think some people are born with more than others. Okay. Because an Elon is not just a normal.
Are you talking about IQ?
Not IQ, just
is IQ, are you born with IQ, or can you grow into a better IQ?
I think you can grow into a better one.
I agree.
Yeah. I was born, I don't got much of an IQ.
I'm dumb as rocks.
No, I don't think you're born
in that trash can over there.
I don't know, yeah. Elon, for an example, I think he has more creative genius than others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting concept. I haven't really thought about that. Being born. I feel like everybody is born with it. Just some have fostered it better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when I was reading it, this was one of the studies that I came across. I don't know who these guys are, but they seem legit. So we're going to roll with it for this podcast. Check me on it. Guys, if you ever hear me say something or me cite something, please check me, because I am definitely not the smartest person in the room. Experience. I'm not even a smart person, to be honest. I just look stuff up on Google and then I talk about it. So if I ever say something, please check me on it. But anyway, these guys, Dr. George Land and Dr. Beth, well, actually, one guy, one girl. See, I told you, I'm not that smart. So according to a study by Dr. George Land and Dr. Beth Jarman, that's a great name, mostly everyone, that is 98% of people to be exact, are born creative geniuses. creative geniuses, not just creative people, creative geniuses, or born
Interesting.
creative geniuses. While people continually hope and pray to become the next Steve Jobs or Elon Musk, this study helps to prove that the capacity to function and live life as a creative genius lies within most everyone. And then he said, I think Dr. George said, I believe everyone has the creative genius within themselves, or at least the potential for it. However, very few people actually ever tap into it, maybe 1% at best, oftentimes because of self-doubt, being unaware of one's potential, listening to what other people / society has to say about them, thus hindering one's own potential.
Yeah.
That last one hit me.
Yeah.
Because like I feel like most of us listen way too much to the people around us
100%.
About what we should or shouldn't do. And there's a difference between just listening to opinion and taking it and running with it, or being controlled by people or people pleasing, and actually discerning things and praying about it and being like, you know what? My mom is pretty smart because she's lived on this earth for 60 years pretty much. So I'm actually going to take what she has to say and I'm going to think about it more so, and maybe do what she says because I know that she is smarter than me. Yeah. You know, to some capacity, not everything. But just kidding. Love your mom.
Fired.
Love your mom. But yeah, there's like definitely a difference there. But I think we as a society just struggle with people pleasing, and we just
100%.
like we never want to take a leap of faith because taking a leap of faith requires you to put what people are saying like in the rearview mirror and just jump forward anyway, even if they're negative comments or like doubtful comments or fearful comments.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've seen that so much in my life recently.
Really?
It's been like a rude awakening that I've spent so much of my life people pleasing, and it's good in some ways because it can kind of help move you in the direction you need to go. But if you let it consume you, it can ruin a lot of things. And I've been seeing that a lot recently and learning that like not everybody needs to know everything.
Yeah.
And just keeping some things closer to the chest because you got to figure it out for yourself before bringing in outside voices. So
yeah. And when you say like keeping it to your chest, like what do you mean? Like just you and you alone, or
yeah, or just like having the couple people around you that you trust the most, that you've been battle tested with.
Yeah.
Like my parents are some of those people, and like, I mean, you're one of them, and like a couple other friends. Just to get like, yeah, like internalizing a lot of things, not in a bad way, but just like, hey, where's my heart at? Yeah. Without bringing other people in. But then slowly broadening that circle and go to like a couple people and then a couple more. So
how did you figure out that the people that are in your inner circle, like how did you figure out that those people need to be there or they should be there? Real talk, I'm going to close these windows because I see a bunch of gnats coming.
I think trial and error, you know.
Trial and error of what? Like, what are you trying and what are you erring at?
Like, there's everybody in my life. I'm pretty open with a lot of people. So there's not really anybody that I won't open up to that I see on a regular basis. I don't know though. Just like spent time with a lot of like people, like my parents. Like, been with them since day one. So
literally.
Yeah, I don't know. Just experience,
experience.
But
some people have parents that they probably wouldn't put in their inner circle.
Sure.
So
I guess I'm just like, yeah.
How like even with your parents though, like how are you going through that process of figuring out who's in there, who's not?
Time, honestly. Like, there's people in my life that like I've known forever. There's people that I've known for a shorter amount of time, and the ones that have been in my life longer are more inclined to be in the closer circle, if that makes sense. It's the closer circle thing is weird.
So you're definitely more of a loyal person.
Yeah.
Like if someone spent the time and they've done the time with you, you're like,
yeah,
you're trusting with them,
Yeah.
even if they may break your trust to some degree,
Yeah.
you're more willing to come back and continue
Yeah,
to.
100%.
Okay.
But even like, there's not really anybody in my life that I'm not like gonna open up to.
Yeah.
You know?
It just depends on when.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
You're a very trusting guy.
yeah. That can be bad in some ways. But
How can that be bad?
I mean, up until recently,
I mean,
relationships.
I can like, well, yeah. Yeah. True. I've watched you go through it a lot, bro. Yeah. Watched you go through it a
don't
lot.
gotta go through it anymore, though.
No, you don't. He's an engaged man, ladies
Yes,
and
sir.
gentlemen. He just popped the question 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Now? Almost
Sunday
2
would
weeks
be
ago.
2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Shout out Nikki.
For real.
Do you want to talk about Nikki at all, or do you want to?
Sure. Like, it's happened quick. We're gonna get married within
How
6
quick?
months.
Yeah, that's pretty quick. According to most.
Yeah, but
Why? Why her?
there's
What
no
made her-
doubt in my
what
mind.
made her different?
Every way possible. Yeah. She's just like everything I've ever wanted in ways that I didn't know I needed.
Can you expound upon that? Give me like one example.
I'm an overthinker,
Okay.
like bad overthinker, and since day one she's never allowed me to overthink in ways that killed me. Does that make sense? Like, she's been affirming in every way possible since day one, and not allowing me the questions.
So she answers the questions before you can even
Exactly.
overthink them.
Yeah.
Like what types of questions? Can you give an example of what questions you were like you would overthink but you didn't?
Just been through it with relationships, so there's just a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty.
Okay.
And I want to trust. That's my thing. Like, I want to trust you if you're in my life and I'm getting to know you. Haven't been taught that in the past. And she, since day one, was like making it so easy to trust her, which is huge for me. And that's like why we've been able to move so quickly.
Yeah.
We communicate so well. And even though it's been a short amount of time, we've worked through so much. And it's just like, without a doubt in my mind, like, love of my life. Like,
What was the first conversation with her like?
we honestly started talking about photo stuff
Really?
because she's a film photographer. That's how, like,
I have seen some of her work. Yeah.
yeah, that's how, like, we started talking on Instagram. You know, it starts with that and slowly goes into like, oh, what do you like to listen to? You know, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, then we met up one time.
And then like third time you're talking, you're like, let's get married.
I mean, I met her once in Indy, downtown Indy.
Okay.
Next time I saw her, I spent 5 days with her in Ohio. Straight. I went and I stayed with her friends, but for 5 days straight, I was with her every day besides like 6 hours of sleep. And one night we stayed up
crazy.
till 5 a.m. talking.
That's nuts.
And like on that trip, or maybe the trip after, is like when we're like, we're doing this. So
For people out there that may be in a similar situation, can you give a bit of advice as to like what basically, because like people can spend time together.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
people do that all the time.
Yeah.
People fall in love in 3 months in the summer and they're like, oh, like love of my life in the summer,
for sure.
you know, like in high school or college. But like, what's the difference, I guess? How are you intentional with that time, even those 5 days?
yeah. I think day one, keeping the Lord in the center and just going into it with open hands of like, all right, we like this. I like you. She likes me. If it doesn't work out, it's in the Lord's plan.
Yeah.
But we're going to like pursue this with open hands and just be like, hey, Lord, like, this is where we're at. Let's just be patient and see where it goes.
Yeah.
And asking the right questions from day one of just like, you know, not being like fake with it. You know, asking like, what's your favorite food type of thing. Like, that's important, but like asking
But you shouldn't
the
like
deeper,
dwell on it.
Yeah. Asking
That's
the
like a
deeper
surface
questions.
level.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I always thought it was like crazy, people saying, when you know, you know. But I thought that was like insane. Like, I never thought I would get married within 6 months.
Yeah. I didn't think you would either.
No, like I'm such a. It's weird. Like I'm such an overthinker, but my mom's like she's always seen it in me of like when I want something, I go for it. Like how I got to Chicago. Like I decided pretty quickly, and it's like the same thing with her. It's like the Lord's been in the center. We have the same values, same views in life. We love the Lord. Mm-hmm. Things are gonna get hard. We totally understand that.
Yep.
There's a reality of like, yeah, we're getting married still in the honeymoon phase, but also the honeymoon phase should never end.
Yeah. And it wasn't about like you weren't getting married for the end goal of the honeymoon phase. No. You're getting married for the end goal of growing together and learning together.
Exactly. And like,
so it didn't really matter what happened along the way.
Exactly.
Because you're in it for the journey and you're in it for
exactly.
You're not marrying her for who she is right now. Well, part of you is obviously, but you're marrying her because you see the trajectory that she's on.
Exactly.
And you're like, I want to ride that wave.
And we're both going to have shortcomings. Like, life's hard. Life's going to throw you left hooks like crazy. But I found somebody who I can go to war with.
That's beautiful, man.
So
beautiful. Man, you're going to make me cry for the first time on my podcast. You can't do this to me, dog.
Yeah, so.
Let's just talk about you moving to Chicago, actually. Because that is another example of just like conquering fear. Fearing God rather than man. Yeah. Like that was a very tangible way of doing so. Yeah. And I got to see it firsthand, but
you're the biggest reason why I'm here.
100% I am. Let's go. I was like, dude, get your butt out of Indianapolis. Yeah, like you moving up to Chicago is a big example of like conquering fear and whatnot. Yeah. And I got to have like a front row seat of that. Basically, for me, it was really cool to watch you basically make a decision so quickly, but also know what went into that decision over the course of like multiple years.
100%.
And that's why I was like pushing you so hard to do it, because you were like doubting yourself and like, oh, like I'm not ready. And I'm like, no, you actually are ready. Yep. You have the skills more than pretty much anybody I see in the market. Like you're up there with the top dogs skill wise. You just got to get, learn more of the ropes in the business side of things, and just how to like relate yourself to people a little bit better, like in customer relations and all that, and then you'd be golden. And you had some other people in your life telling you the same thing, and so even though you were doubting and even people in your life were doubting, I don't even know like what your parents thought about it, but you prepared for that decision. Yeah, definitely. And I want you to talk about that, but I relate that to your situation now, seeing the work that you put in yourself. Yeah. And seeing the ways that you handled all of the bad situations and the bad girls in your life. The way you handled them brought you to a point. They weren't all bad. They weren't all like terrible, no.
Yeah, they weren't terrible.
No, I'm just saying like all the situations you were in, like the way you handled them, the way you treated those women. Yeah. Like there was no doubt in my mind that you're someone who's preparing yourself for marriage and ready for marriage.
Yeah. Yeah, because we did a pod a long time ago. Was it before I moved here? Or was it after? No, it was before.
It was before.
It was on my birthday and like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, it was before you moved here. And it was when this was called Impacted Creatives, like way back in the day. OG, yeah. But I wouldn't call it a podcast because it was like 8 minutes long.
Was it really?
Yeah, it wasn't that long.
Oh, dang, okay.
Yeah, that was a different era. I was just doing like short little interview clips, which was still fun. It was a blast.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely challenging, but I had been working a job that I thought I wanted to do the rest of my life as landscaping, and then got to the point that I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. And it worked out with like a roommate situation with you that in the fall of 2 years ago, what was that, 22? 22? Yeah.
Yeah.
It just, a spot opened up, and it's definitely nerve-wracking because I had just started to go full-time, but like had booked one thing that summer, and then moving to a city that I'd visited a couple times and didn't really have many connections outside of you. was just like so fearful because like money had like kept a hold on me. Like working hourly job, like how much am I making? Like it was an idol for sure. So to go from that to how much money am I gonna make a month? Literally not knowing was a lot.
It's a lot of faith to put in the Lord.
Oh yeah, and like there were people in my life that supported it for sure. Like my parents were supporting it, but fearful because it's like big bad Chicago.
It'll get you.
But it was the best decision I ever made. Now it's like I love the city, but I'm ready to kind of move on. Don't know when that will be exactly, but it's fulfilled its purpose. Because it's got me to the place business-wise that I feel solid.
Yeah.
So
you've always been a small town boy too, though.
100%.
That was like that was one of the funny things I think was.
Yeah.
It was. I see the validity now. I told you were stupid for thinking it back then, but you were like, oh, like I'm not a big city guy. Like I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't want to live in the big city.
Yeah.
But you did it anyway.
Yeah.
And it like challenged you a lot and grew you.
It strictly was for work.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like you wanted to come up here because you like saw yourself living here for the rest of your life.
What's crazy is that when I was a kid, though, I used to like come up with my parents on the train. I literally dreamed of living here.
Really?
And I forgot about that for a couple years until I moved and fulfilled that purpose.
Congrats for accomplishing a dream, brother.
But now it's just
here's
like,
to chasing your dreams.
Exactly.
Cheers.
Now it's just like, all right, I fulfilled it. Like,
yeah,
it's been great. The people I've met here are incredible. Like, honestly, wouldn't be here without you and Creative Club.
Shout out Creative Club.
For real.
They're
like, that whole crew there, like, without them, I don't know where I'd be, to be completely honest.
All of them. Can I just name them?
Yeah.
Liz, Braxton, Eric, Steven, Gene, Bean,
Alex,
Cyrus,
Shua was there for a minute.
Yeah, Shua, so talented. All of them.
I'm trying to think of else. I think that's it.
Amazing,
Hopefully
talented, genuine people.
Yes.
If we forgot you,
Truly
I'm sorry.
the best.
Don't come for our next.
But
no, yeah.
It's like that connection was huge to get me. Like Gene got me my first job here. It was just like it was good. It was great, and like still gonna be like they're people I'll be involved with for the rest of my life. Like the connection.
Well, you thought you were just coming up here for business, but then you just met your best friends for life.
Yeah, like there'll be a season when like we all like disperse probably, but I always want to like be involved and be connected with them.
Yeah.
Same with like Connor, Xavier, like outside
Shout
of the creative community, like there's people here that through social media, like they'll always be involved in my life.
Social media is a beautiful thing.
In that way only.
Yeah.
I hate social media.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sucks, and it causes me a lot of internal pain.
Yeah.
And definitely doesn't help my ADHD at all.
No, sir.
But
it's good for some things.
I love keeping up with people.
Yeah.
And I love the ability to randomly just text somebody if I saw something that they did, encourage them. I love being able to just like FaceTime too. Like
huge.
I'll see someone post something or see something they did, and I'll FaceTime them. I'll be like, dude, what up?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's such a cool. I don't know the word. It's such a cool like avenue.
Yeah.
Something to where you can like really create better connection with
100%.
people.
It's massive. Like we built our careers off of it.
And our friendship.
That's how we met. Yeah. So
I didn't expect to be talking about this, but you said something, and so I want to bring it up. We don't have to go too in depth, but you said something about when you were leaving Indiana, you were kind of like enslaved almost to the grind of the hourly job.
Yeah.
And you were like, I make this much a month, like I work this many hours, and I don't want to step out of that because it's comfortable. Would you equate that to like a poverty mindset? And what is your take on poverty mindset and kind of linking that to the Bible and what God says about it?
Yeah. Oh, like I think the point in my life when I was most stressed about money was when I had the most.
Really?
Yeah. I was saving up for a car, had over 10 grand, and I was just like, yeah, I'd never had that much money. But like, I was so stressed about money.
Wow.
Every paycheck, I was like, okay, like, I don't have enough.
Yeah.
And I'm looking back right now, I'm like, bro, I'd be living high if I had that much. Yeah, it's just like, I think it's the mindset too of just that environment, like a physical labor type job. Like every hour means something. And you're like, oh, like I need to work just an extra hour. And like, also like that job, like when you're mowing for 8 hours a day, you have nothing.
Manual physical labor.
You have nothing else to think about than you're either listening to a podcast from Joe Rogan or thinking about how much money you're going to save this month and like what you're going to buy next.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things. And when you're in high school too, you're not saving for much. You're just like, oh, I'm going to buy this camera.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was thinking. So,
which, what a great job to have like in high school and
100%,
college though.
It's
like,
changed my life.
Dude.
My future house is going to be the best one on the block.
Yeah. The job,
only.
dude, the jobs that I had, like working at Chick-fil-A, valeting, working as a chauffeur driver.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I forgot you did that.
Yeah, bro. It was fun. It was a fun time. Those like really did change my life and still a lot of like really valuable skills and
the work ethic.
Work ethic for sure. But at the same time, it definitely can become a slave to be in because you're just like, you just can't get out of the mentality of I'm capped at this amount of money and I have to work this amount of hours to get that much money. Yep. And so then you're just like stuck in that
you're
wheel.
never content.
And it's not about making a bunch of money at all.
Mm-mm.
But I think for me and I think for you too, it's more about having the time and energy to do what we feel led to do, what God's put on our heart, to invest in the friendships and relationships that we have in a better way and not have to be like, if I can make $2,000 in 20 hours rather than 40 hours, I'm going to take the 20 hours every single time, even if it's a more concentrated, hardworking 20 hours.
Yeah.
Even if I feel dead after 20 hours collectively and I'm like, I just need to go to sleep, I'd rather do that and then wake up and still have 15 in the bank to hang,
100%.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No,
but yeah, I mean, it fulfilled a purpose, a season of life, and it carried me into like what I'm doing now, and definitely given me a better mindset of money and the relationship with money. Being more thankful when like jobs come through. Yeah. And just not holding such a tight fist on it. And then there's moments like I'm going through some stuff right now and I'm pretty stressed about money because getting married, but just reminding myself that the Lord's truly going to work it out in the right timing and it'll work out. Like money, it's important to live, but like
it's not everything.
It's not everything.
Like, God always provides. Dude.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
Like, he really does.
Like I even think the first 6 months I was living here, there was times where I probably told you like literally barely had enough to pay rent. Yeah. And I would go on walks in West Loop. There's one day in particular, and I was just like almost crying to the Lord. I'm just like, I need something. Literally an hour later, I got a gig. Yeah. And it was just like I'll never forget that day. Yep. He truly always does
build
provide.
those pillars, you build those stones out of those moments. And you never forget that.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, testimony is so important. Yeah. Self-testimony is super, super important. Yeah. Because you're not always gonna have someone to like necessarily build you up. Like the idea is, and Nikki, like that is a partner that you can build up and be built up by, but you need to be able to rely on the Lord solely and be able to be reminded of the goodness that He's done in your life. You know,
that's huge. Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about? I don't want to go too much longer, but can you talk a little bit about just waiting on God and like how you approached the waiting period, even practical ways that you kind of kept yourself not in check, but like in that mindset of being near to God.
Are we talking about work, life, both?
Let's talk about the relationship, because that's something
Okay.
you waited a while for.
Yeah. Yeah, where to begin? It's not been always super easy
Yeah.
with relationships.
Of course not.
You and I have talked about it countless hours.
A lot.
You know, we've been through certain situations that the Lord used them. You know, like He used those seasons to build me and to grow me. Were they difficult? Yes. Wish those people the best, but I'm just thankful I'm where I am now.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the amount of conversations just you and I have had, like I've had with so many people of like times where I literally thought life was ending. And like looking back, it's crazy how much stress I put myself through to get nothing out of those relationships.
Yep.
And that's been the biggest eye-opening thing with Nikki. It's like understanding what I had to go through and what the Lord had to teach me through those seasons, but also understanding like it was just preparation to be where I am now and to be with her. Like all of those heartaches and all of those like moments of just loneliness and hurt was all worth it. It took time like to get to where I found her. I wish I could have done things differently and not, you know, put time into certain, you know, relationships. But the Lord used them. The Lord taught me things, and
Would you say you like stayed present through all like everything, or were there like weaker times and stronger times, and what was the difference in your actions like that caused the weaker and the stronger times for your faith?
I don't know. I think there was a lot of maturity over those times. I would hope I would stay present, but I don't know. I mean, you would understand, like, I think most people would understand, like, the beginning phase of talking to somebody new, you get excited. So you can kind of lose grip on reality a little bit. And I think that was the big thing about where I am now with Nikki. It's like every other season ended the same way. With her, I was like, I need to do this differently. And it kind of goes into what we were talking earlier. And like, when we first started talking, I barely told anybody because I needed to make sure my heart was right.
Yeah.
That led to, you know, some people like questioning. Sure.
I questioned.
Exactly. And like, that's...
Why wouldn't you? Question your friends. Okay. We're going to close out on this. I want you to continue.
Okay.
But question your friends. That's one of the
yes, 100%.
points I was going to make here at the end. When it comes to like having close friendships and like practical ways to build that up. Yeah. And one of the main ones, one of the main things you can do is question your friends and provide critical feedback.
Yeah. Like it's key. Like you know, there's ways I could have done it better, and like I'm still working through that, and like
just waving to the bystanders. Guy was fishing.
Yeah, there's definitely things I could have done better, but I know at the beginning, like I needed my heart to be in the right place, and then bringing those people in, and you know, just trusting the Lord with it. Like, yes, there's things I could have done better to control the situation, but the reality is like the Lord used those for a reason, and I am where I am now, and I can only control what I can control. So, yeah.
Well, I'm proud of you, bro.
Appreciate it.
Of course. I'm
excited. Been a journey. There's a reality of like, yeah, we're getting married still in the honeymoon phase, but also the honeymoon phase should never end.
At least you made it, bro. You made it. I'm still looking.
You're next.
Bro.
You're next.
Maybe.
You're in the gulag.
Some days, bro. I am. You know,
You're in the loading bay.
I am in the loading bay, and I really am doing my best to dig deep into my relationship with God and what God's already put on my plate.
Yep.
And I think that's like what you did too. Yep. And the most important thing that we can do is be good stewards of what God's already given us.
Life's hard. Life's going to throw you left hooks like crazy.
That falls prey to just like getting ahead of myself. Yeah. and not taking care of business and then expecting some sort of blessing to still come out of it. And you know what's funny about God? He'll still give you that blessing.
Yeah.
He'll still give you that blessing, and you'll feel on top of the world. You're like, oh, yeah, like I made this happen. No, you didn't.
Yep.
God did. And just because he gave it to you doesn't mean that it's good for you.
Exactly.
The only good that he hopes to come from it is for you to hopefully reach a point where you realize that you shouldn't have had it, and you come back to grips with, like, oh, wow, God really does know best.
Yeah.
And I should follow his will because, bro, it's
key.
Oh, my gosh. So key. So key. But yeah, guys, I just fear God.
Truly.
Fear God. It's the best thing that you can do.
Yep.
He's just such a comforter, too.
It may not seem like it in the moment, but, like, he's working it out. And, like, it's being used for good. Just got to be patient with it. And I suck at being patient. But
Same.
It's worth it.
Same.
Yeah.
I got a few Bible verses, actually, to just back that up and hopefully encourage you guys. I know they encouraged me when I read them. Just talking about fear. This one is specifically about, like, seeking the Lord through prayer. Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. That's my favorite word. Let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Facts.
Fire.
Big one right there.
Fire flames.
Couple short ones, but powerful ones. Psalm 62:5. For God alone, O my soul, wait in silence, for my hope is from him.
Psalms are the best.
Dude, I've been reading Psalms like crazy. I've been reading Psalm 1 every day and then just picking a random one.
What is there? There's 40, 49?
No, there's a lot more than 49.
I meant 149.
Oh,
in my head, I was like,
yeah.
figuring out the last two numbers.
Add a zero
What
to
is
that
it?
or something.
Here, while you're reading the next one, I'm going to figure this out.
So
Curious.
Isaiah 46:10, super short. Be still and know that I am God. That's God speaking to us. So comforting to hear that, to hear those words, and to know that, I don't know, just to know that God's always got my back.
150.
150?
I was one off.
One off. Be better, bro.
I'm a better Christian. I suck.
And then finally, Psalm 46:1-3. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. He's there right in the thick of it. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth gives way, though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, though the mountains tremble at its swelling. So basically, I'll read that again. Therefore, we will not fear, even though the earth gives way, even though the mountains be moved into the heart of the sea, even though its waters roar and foam, even though the mountains tremble at its swelling.
Such a vivid picture.
I know, bro. Talking about God is the most creative dude out there.
For real. Talk about creative genius.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's wrap this up real quick. I'm just gonna throw some practical
already?
ways. Yeah.
No,
It's dark out, bro. You can probably barely see us out there. You just see our little white
Is that
faces.
person filming us? Or the city?
Hey, that skyline looks beautiful, though. If you guys can see it, it's one of my favorite views ever. What are practical ways you can be intentional about growing your relationships with your inner circle? Well, let's start with the basics. Who are the 5 to 10 people you are currently spending the most time with? Are they life-giving or life-sucking? Are they life-giving or are they life-sucking? It's a tough question to ask yourself.
Yeah. It's hard to narrow down, honestly. Especially for you.
This is one of my toughest challenges right now.
And it's not like a best friend. I hate the word best friend.
No, it's not. I have a lot of best friends.
Yeah, same. I'd say every friend I have is a best friend in a way.
There's a difference between a best friend and a brother in Christ. or a sister in Christ.
Yeah.
Like a true homie in the Lord.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like someone's going to call you out on your BS.
Yeah.
Someone's
100%.
going to pick you up when you're
Yeah. Not everybody's going to do
almost
that.
dead.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be there for you.
Yeah. Some might put a bullet in your head if you're being too crazy. It's a little graphic, but...
A little graphic. There goes my light. I'm out. We're gonna wrap this up. Anyway, yeah, create a list of people you want to get to know better.
Yeah.
Don't just create the list, but
Yeah.
identify why you want to grow closer to them.
Yeah.
Then for each person, write down 5 things you can do to impact their lives for the positive.
That's good.
Ask deep and thoughtful questions. Stop talking and really listen to what they have to say.
Yeah. That's huge.
And then final one. Seek feedback from your inner circle.
Yeah.
The one I was talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Seek feedback from your inner circle. Have a loving growth mindset.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but needed.
Yeah.
It also draws you closer together. Added bonus.
Yeah.
So I think we always lie to ourselves and we're just like, nah, like it won't grow. It won't grow us closer together. Like if I bring up something hard, we're going to get in a fight and then we're never going to talk again.
Yeah.
Only if you
False.
choose to do that.
Yeah.
But if you do bring those things up, you're going to get a lot closer.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have like really, really sweet friendships.
Exactly.
Because the sweetest friendships are the ones that you're the most open with. And the
And
ones...
sometimes be the hardest ones too, at
Yeah.
times.
Yeah, definitely.
Like going through the harder things in life with.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. But it's worth it. It's definitely
100%.
worth it. And those are going to be the people that you're going to... I don't know. They're going to be by your deathbed, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
That's huge.
yeah, that's all I got for today.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing you said in the last, that for me is, that last section was asking good questions. That's something I've really grown in moving to Chicago is it doesn't have to be about me all the time or you. Like
No.
take a second, ask other people questions.
Yeah.
Like it'll mean a lot to them.
Mm-hmm.
And not everybody does it. So just
Yep.
something to work on. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Even just text the person. Like text if you think about somebody, if God put somebody on your heart,
Yeah.
text them
Shoot them a text.
and ask them how they're doing, and maybe think for one solid more minute and be like, is there something specific I know about this person
Mm-hmm.
that they're struggling with, or that they're not struggling with, that I could encourage them in and be like, keep going,
Mm-hmm.
do this, like you're crushing it. Just think deeper and
100%.
really choose to care about those people.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes the world of a difference.
Totally.
So, all right, I got a final question for you because I've been asking everybody this. What does it mean to you personally to be a creative?
For me as a wedding photographer, just capturing somebody's story in like their most important day in a way that hopefully feels unique to them,
I like that.
but also unique to me in like how I see their story.
Yeah. You're creating art, but you're also capturing
Yeah.
life.
Best of both worlds to me.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
Yeah.
Well, you're dang good at it, brother.
I
Keep doing
appreciate
it. Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Guys, thanks for listening again. And yeah, I don't know. Keep creating.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
If there's any single girls out there,
Chill, bro. Chill.
hit up my boy.
Chill. You can't be doing that to me, dog. All right. I'm out. No, just kidding. Imagine I just end it right there. Just get out. Just go jump in the lake.
Honestly, I feel pretty good right now.
You want to?
I'm starving.
All right, let's go jump in the lake and let's get some food.
Oh, maybe.
That was going to be a heck of an outro, and he just ruined it.
Hey, I could have just got you a date.
Maybe. We'll see.
Then I didn't ruin it. I just made it better.
True. It's a true homie right there. All right, guys. Keep creating. You were created for a reason, so
Amen.
create because we're created to create. Bye.
Keep creating.
Peace.